You made it through another day, but does it feel like you were actually there for it? Like life kept moving while you watched from somewhere far away? Those quiet hours just slipped through your fingers, and no one around you seems to notice that kind of loneliness. The Buddha understood this ache, not as a flaw in you, but as something deeply human. 2,500 years ago, he found a remarkably simple way back. Today's teaching is that path. One breath, one step, one moment at a time. Bodh Gaya, in northern India, about 2,500 years ago. The sky before dawn was still a deep shade of indigo. The broad leaves of the Bodhi tree caught the night dew and glimmered faintly in the dark. The soil at the base of the tree had been pressed down by many footsteps until it was smooth and firm. Somewhere nearby, a bird called out once. Then silence folded back over everything. There was no wind. Through the trees, the eastern sky was just barely beginning to lighten, not pushing the night away, not chasing off the dark, just quietly, simply being there. Beneath the Bodhi tree, a single figure stood. Slowly, he took one step forward, then another. Each footfall met the earth without haste, the way water finds its level, not deciding, not arriving, simply moving as it must. Behind him, the pressed soil held the shape of where he had sat, and the dew continued to gather on the broad leaves above, indifferent and faithful as it had always been. A single lamp burned at the edge of a nearby village, its light too small to reach him, its smoke rising and vanishing into the dark the way all things do. A child turned in sleep, a dog lifted its head, then set it down again. The path he walked was no different from any other path. Packed earth, scattered leaves, the occasional root breaking the surface, and let each step landed as though the ground itself had been waiting, quietly, for exactly this. His name was Gautama Siddhartha, the one who would later be known as the Buddha. Just before that dawn, after a long night of deep meditation, he had awakened, reached what we call enlightenment. It had been a long, long journey. Born into a royal family, he had left behind every comfort. He had walked into severe ascetic practice, and then released even that. He had sat beneath the Bodhi tree in quiet stillness, and then, finally, that night, something opened. And yet the Buddha did not speak. He did not call his disciples together to share the teaching. He did not leap to his feet in joy. According to what the ancient texts record, after his awakening, the Buddha spent some time simply walking, back and forth, slowly, near the Bodhi tree. This is called kinhin, walking meditation. Why did he walk? Not to tell anyone, not to get anywhere. His steps were in no hurry. He simply took one step and felt the sensation of his foot meeting the earth. His right foot lifted, moved forward. The sole of his foot received the ground beneath it. That was all, and he did it again, carefully, again and again. The texts preserve a scene from a little later. One of his disciples noticed the Buddha walking slowly near the Bodhi tree. He approached and asked, "Teacher, are you going somewhere?" The Buddha kept walking. Quietly he replied, "No." The disciple tilted his head and tried again. "Then are you thinking about something?" The Buddha, still walking, answered, "I am not thinking." The disciple was confused. Not going anywhere, not thinking about anything. Then why are you walking at all? For the first time, the Buddha stopped. He turned toward his disciple, eyes calm and steady, and said, "I am walking for this one step." The disciple stood quietly for a moment. The words didn't open up immediately. Walking in order to take one step, not to arrive somewhere. This step right now is the whole point, the whole of it. He looked down at the teacher's feet. There were footprints in the earth. They weren't a trail leading anywhere. They were simply evidence that here now, something had truly been. Then as they walked together, the Buddha spoke to his disciple. "Every day you walk, but the last time you walked, did you feel the soles of your feet?" The disciple shook his head. "I was thinking about tomorrow, about yesterday. My mind was somewhere else the whole time." The Buddha nodded. "You were not walking. You were living inside your head. Your feet were touching the ground, but you were not there." The disciple tried to hold on to what that meant, but something snagged in him. "Teacher, is thinking a bad thing then? Isn't it necessary to consider the future, to learn from the past?" The Buddha kept walking as he answered, "It isn't bad, but when your feet are on the ground and your mind is somewhere else entirely, you are only half alive. So much of your suffering makes its home." The disciple looked down at his own feet, mid-step, and for the first time, felt the small stones beneath his sandal, the slight give of the soil, the way his weight shifted from heel to toe like a slow tide. It was such a small thing, and yet something in his chest loosened, as if a knot he had forgotten about had quietly come undone. He had walked this same path 1,000 times, and somehow, he realized, he had never once arrived. The Buddha's words to his disciple, "only half alive," land somewhere deep in our everyday experience. Think about it. When you walk, what is your mind doing? Replaying something that happened at work, turning over something someone said, running through tomorrow's schedule, rehearsing yesterday's regrets. Your legs are moving, but your heart isn't here. The Buddha called this the home of suffering, and this isn't a problem with how you walk. It's a question of where your awareness is pointed. Let's pause here for a moment. When we feel pain, where does it actually come from? We tend to say, my boss, the weather, my health, but Buddhism points to something a little deeper. The pain isn't simply because something unpleasant is happening. The pain comes from being bound to somewhere other than right here, right now. The words someone said to you in yesterday's meeting, you're still turning them over today. The deadline 3 weeks away, you're already carrying it right now, in this moment. You're dragging the weight of the past and the future into the present, and that's what makes the present heavy. Maybe the suffering isn't that right now is unbearably hard. Maybe it's that you've drifted away from right now, and you're living inside something that hasn't happened yet, or something that can't be changed anymore. And that's where the suffering lives. This is the deep reason Buddhism holds walking meditation so dear. There's one more question worth sitting with here. What do you think you are? A collection of memories, a name, a history of experiences, a bundle of future anxieties? We tend to think of ourselves as the sum of all these things, but Buddhism turns that question around. Is this self something fixed and unchanging? Right now, in this moment when your foot is touching the ground, the you from the past and the you of the future are nowhere to be found. There is only this, the pressure of the sole of your foot against the earth, felt right now. What we call me isn't the accumulated weight of countless moments. It's something that lives in this single instant. The wounds of the past, the anxieties of the future, they don't exist in right here, right now. They are memories, imaginings, shapes the mind has constructed. When the Buddha spoke of walking, he meant touching this truth. Sole of the foot to earth. With each step, now is born. The previous step is already gone. The next step isn't here yet. There is only this step. Buddhism has a phrase, impermanence. Everything is always changing. But this isn't a lesson in learning to accept change. From the perspective of walking meditation, it means this. The step you just took, the moment you take the next one, is already gone. Is that sad? No, the fact that this disappearing step held everything of right now, that fact never disappears. It's the searching for something that doesn't change, somewhere. Each step you take teaches your body this truth. When a grief counselor once asked her patient to simply walk to the window and back, the patient returned and said quietly, "That was the first time in months I wasn't thinking about him." She hadn't solved anything, she hadn't healed anything, but for those few steps she had been nowhere but inside the walking itself. So, how does this teaching on walking meditation touch our daily lives? Let's look at 3 situations together. Scene 1, the daily commute. Many of us walk the same road every morning, 15 minutes to the station. What is your mind doing during that time? For most of us, sorting through today's tasks, replaying yesterday's mistake, wondering if that message got a reply. Your feet are moving, but your awareness is still back in yesterday's office, or already inside the meeting room you're heading toward. In the Buddha's words, you are not there. Try shifting your perspective just slightly. The road you commute on might not be dead time between you and your destination. That 15 minutes might be the one place today where right now, right here, actually lives. The hardness of asphalt underfoot, cold morning air, the brief lightness when your heel lifts off the ground. The moment you notice any of that, you return just a little, from the person rushing towards somewhere, back to the person who is here. Scene 2. Walking while carrying something heavy. After an argument with someone, after being reprimanded at work, after losing someone you loved. In those moments our minds loop the same film over and over. If only I had said something different. Why did I do that? What happens now? Even while walking, the heart is locked inside that event. Buddhism looks at this carefully. The pain isn't the event itself, it's that the event is bound to the belief that things should have been otherwise, and that belief won't let you leave. And that bind lives in the past, not here, not now. Right now the sole of my foot is touching the ground. That fact cannot be changed. It is an unshakable now. Gently guiding a little of your awareness back to that, the past pain doesn't vanish. But when awareness has been completely filled by suffering from the past, a small opening appears, a little space where the sensation of right now can enter. Something that small can reach surprisingly deep. Scene 3. When you're caught in urgency, I have to move faster, I need to be further along by now, this isn't enough. Many people carry this kind of urgency inside them. Where does urgency come from? Often it comes from the feeling that who you are right now is not sufficient. You're not there yet. Only when you reach some other version of yourself will you finally be able to breathe. But when the Buddha walked beneath the Bodhi tree after his awakening, he had nowhere left to go. There was nothing more to reach, and still he walked. Because the meaning of walking was never about arriving somewhere. The step he had just taken was already complete in itself. The next step was needed only for the next step, not to get anywhere. If even a little of that reaches you, the root of the urgency, the feeling of I'm not enough yet, might tremble. Just slightly. The fact that you are here, right now, might already be its own kind of completion. Walking to your next meeting, walking to the kitchen to make tea, walking to your car at the end of a long day. None of these need to be borrowed time. Each one can be exactly what the Buddhist path always pointed toward. Not a preparation for living, but living itself. Your next step is already waiting to receive you completely. Here is something you can actually try, starting today. Nothing complicated. No special time. No special place. Practice 1. The first 7 steps. Tomorrow morning when you wake up and get out of bed, for just the first 7 steps, bring your attention to the soles of your feet, the coolness of the floor, its hardness, the way your weight shifts from foot to foot. Just feel that, for 7 steps. The Buddha's disciples kept kinhin, walking meditation, as a morning practice. They didn't need to walk far, just quietly back and forth across a small patch of ground. What mattered wasn't the distance or the time, it was recovering with each step. The sensation of being here. 7 steps is enough. For those 7 steps, set aside yesterday and today's plans. Just receive the feeling of your foot meeting the floor. I can't promise this will change everything, but in those 7 steps, there will be a moment of returning to right now. One moment like that in a whole day, that might be enough. Practice 2, 1 step back. Here's another way. When something unpleasant surfaces in your mind, or when you feel urgency rising, while you're still walking, in the moment you take the next step, bring your attention only to the sole of your foot. You don't have to stop the thoughts, you don't have to silence anything, just acknowledge, right now my foot touched the ground. That's all. The thoughts may keep going, the urgency may stay, but alongside the thinking and the urgency, there is also this, the sensation of the sole of your foot, right now. 2 things existing side by side. That's where walking meditation begins. Whether the urgency fades, I can't say. But awareness that was nothing but urgency may shift, just a little, into awareness where urgency and right now coexist. That shift is small on the surface, but it can reach somewhere surprisingly deep. And sometimes in that small shift, you notice you've been carrying the urgency, the way you carry a bag, so long you forgot it was in your hand. The foot still touches the ground. Take a moment to look back at the roads you walked today. The morning commute, the path to the grocery store, the few steps from the front door to the parking lot. When you were walking, where was your awareness? Was it in the ground beneath your feet, or was it somewhere else entirely? There's no right answer, no need to judge yourself. Just quietly, gently, let yourself remember. A child walking to school notices every crack in the sidewalk, every ant carrying a crumb, every puddle left by last night's rain. Somewhere along the way, we traded that kind of seeing for somewhere else to be. But the sidewalk still has its cracks. The ants are still at work. Last night's rain left its puddles, whether we look down or not. The art of returning to this moment, which is really the heart of walking meditation, is something we explored more deeply in a previous teaching. On the morning the Buddha awakened, the very first thing he did was walk. Not announce the news to anyone, not write anything down, not set off toward the next place, just take one step. If that image has been speaking to us for 2,500 years, it may be carrying a message quieter than any words. You are here, right now. This one step is already complete. I won't tell you not to feel urgency. Urgency comes. That's part of being alive. I won't tell you to let go of the past. The past doesn't release easily. That's the truth. But in the moment when the sole of your foot touches the earth, you can always come back, just a little, to right now. That is the quiet, humble reason Buddhism has kept walking meditation alive for 2,500 years. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Tonight, before you fall asleep, take a moment to remember the roads you walked today. You were there. You really were. The cracked sidewalk outside your office, the kitchen floor in the middle of the night, the parking lot where you sat in your car for a few minutes before going in. Each one, a place where your life was actually happening. Tonight, try just one thing. A small step is enough. One story a day. In a week, your words will change. In a month, your eyes will change. In a year, the same world will look completely different.